Today I'm back at the Smoke Jumper Resort where they've got 9 prefab homes, all from drop structures. People always ask me in the comments, hey, can you talk to someone who's actually purchased a prefab home before? And I do when available. However, I thought this would be a perfect chance to talk to someone who's bought 9. 9 prefab homes is a big purchase, and I'd like to find out how he made his decision, who he was going to buy from, if everything went as expected, and if there's anything he would change if he were to do it all again. All right, I'm here with Tim, the owner of the Smoke Jumper in Idaho City. There are so many options available, and I'm curious, how did you settle on drop structures?
Right. So the first thing that was important to us was modern, contemporary. So that was kind of the first thing. I think when you think tiny homes, you kind of have this on 4 wheels, all wood, you know, that kind of aesthetic. And I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but we did want to bring more of a modern vibe to it. So we were just looking for places that had glass. And we did find a lot of tiny homes. We called a bunch. We went to Colorado and looked at a few builders. I think the biggest thing about drop structures that appealed to us was just honestly, the exterior aesthetic.
Yeah.
I think we always think of Instagram, social media, and truthfully that A-frame, that angle.
It's cool.
I think that was really honestly the initial draw. Not that nobody does it, but the actual other part of that is they're in Lethbridge, Canada, which sounds far if you're in the United States, but it's truthfully less commute, and our transportation costs were less than if we were getting it from the Midwest or East Coast.
Right, that makes sense.
And so in all actuality, it actually worked out great for us that they're only like 3-4 hours away.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So Drop Structures has 4 or 5 different models that they list on their website. How did you settle on the hollow?
Right. So we tried to find a floor plan that we thought was going to definitely be able to sleep 4.
Okay.
We also wanted to have a compact enough footprint where we could get enough units in there.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
You start realizing you're probably only going to make X amount more, but if it costs you a whole nother unit, that's a whole, anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000 a month in revenue you're going to lose.
Got it.
And the big compromise, Carrie, that I got to say, maybe I'd relook at it all over again, is that loft bedroom.
Okay.
And I say that because my age, knock on wood, is fine climbing ladders, young people, a lot of people come and it's a throwback to being in a tent or a tree house, that kind of idea, right?
Yeah.
But there's liability that's associated with it, which means insurance, right? So it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means insurance will probably cost more, right? You do kind of worry. We did replace all the hardware to where it locks onto the rail versus the standard where it came and you can just kind of take it on and off.
Okay.
And I've seen your tours where you've been to some tiny homes that have more of an actual bedroom, and then that loft is kind of more of like a kid's loft or a storage or something like that.
Yeah.
I think if I could reimagine it all over again, I may have done that, knowing this is on a consumer level and you're trying to reach the maximum amount of potential consumers.
So would you just take the loft out and do the studio, or would you do a bedroom?
I think I would have done, so now for example, I know Drop Structures, I don't know what the model's called, but they've got a bedroom in the back.
Yeah.
And I want to say the bathroom's in the middle, I'm not quite sure.
I think so, yeah.
But I still would want that loft because space is just so tight, right?
Yeah.
You're fighting for every inch that you can get.
Yeah.
But I think I would still want to have a master bedroom on the bottom, and if I would have ran them longer,
right,
maybe I would have been able to do one less unit because of cost factor. Of course, it would have cost more, but there is a little bit of trepidation that I have knowing what I know now. Now our cleaners will climb up and they don't even lock the wheels in,
Really?
Up and down, no big deal, right? So there is a get used to it factor.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the one thing I'd probably relook at if I could do it all over again.
So Unit 7, the one that I'm going to be staying in tonight, is that something that you guys designed specifically for this project? Because it's not on their website from what I can tell.
Great question, yeah. So they did experiment with one before that was not really for public resale. They just had one, I think, that a guest or a client of theirs had wanted. So they did have that available. I can't remember what we tweaked. We did tweak that floor plan that they brought to us a little bit, and it was a custom one-off. And the way the city works is for every, I want to say 4 units, you have to have one ADA accessible unit for every, on a commercial building, just like parking spots, right?
Yeah.
And again, if I had to do it over again, which is like everything in life, I think the only big drawback to that is you can't get a queen size or full size bed in there. It's only
Right.
twin.
Yeah.
But then if you were to go wider, it costs more, and it starts to become, these got to be transportable, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're talking about putting it on an actual truck trailer that's coming down in a F550, right?
Yeah.
Like you can, road wise, you can only get so far wide,
Yeah,
right? 8
right.
feet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so that's a compromise. You know, we made the couch so it folds out into a bed, so you have
Yeah.
that. But I mean, most couples would like to, regardless of their marriage, still feel like they can sleep in the same bed.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so you've mentioned a couple times if you were to do it again. So I got to ask, do you have plans to do it again? Are you going to work on something similar going forward, or?
We do. That's why we were so stoked to have you come down.
Okay, okay, cool.
You've done all the research for us.
Yeah.
Definitely not saying I would not do drop structures again, but I think as you kind of go through this, you're always looking to bring kind of a freshness and a newness, and it's
Interesting.
fun to work with new materials and
Totally.
new layouts.
Yeah.
So we are looking for properties that are vacant land, whether it be commercial or private. I would say I could go half and half on whether we just are buying a lot and putting 1 or maybe 2 units on them, or
Yeah.
we're doing it commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial brings its whole separate animal. You are now a hotel. You are now open 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You now are needing to be, and even though we run it remote, and even though not everyone is on site 24/7,
Yeah.
there's always someone available 24/7.
Yeah.
But from the vacation rental aspect,
Yeah.
I think people are always looking for something unique, cool, and maybe
Definitely.
not something they live in, but something they want to stay in that doesn't feel like what they live in.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I stayed in the Hollow. It was like you say, it was kind of like being in a tree fort. It took me back to when I was a kid. It was a lot of fun. Do you have a short list of who you're looking at?
So you had just stopped actually and saw a builder. I think you were proceeding on, but there was a builder that was in New York or somewhere in that area that you had stopped as you were continuing to proceed. It was all black, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was it was like part of a compound almost, I want to say.
Okay.
It had a bedroom. We'll look at it together.
I'll have to think back.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was,
think of it off
and
the
I
top
want
of
to
my
say it was a
head.
couple of months ago. You're everywhere. You're all over the country, so
Yeah.
you're a great resource.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
But I've seen a handful that have. It's almost like all the places you go, you could almost take one thing from each builder,
Totally,
and
yeah.
put it all together to have the perfect build.
Yeah.
I thought it was great how they were reusing the wood out of that when you went to, was it South America or Mexico, wherever you went?
Yeah, that was Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. I
Messiah
thought it was
Homes.
so
Yeah.
cool how they're recycling that wood
That
and
was awesome.
building those structures.
Yeah.
We're 4 seasons out here, so
Yeah.
I will say one challenge, and we had this problem here. It gets cold in Canada, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
our water temps get really cold, like 10 degrees, so we had to replace the tankless hot water heaters.
Yeah.
They had the smaller ones, and we had to go to a much larger one.
Yeah.
And then we definitely had to skirt the bottoms. So the way we were code, we had to make them permanent foundations,
Yeah.
which is great for real estate because now you can count it as a real house.
Yeah.
But that left a gap of about this big underneath, and
Air whistles through.
air would go through.
Yeah.
We'd freeze the pipes,
Yeah.
so we had to skirt it and insulate it.
Right.
Not a big deal, but again, these are just things you learn along the way.
I noticed that with the water, like when you go to take a drink, it is ice cold coming out of the
Ice
tap.
cold,
I
yes,
love it.
yes.
It's nice for me.
Yes.
Sucks for you.
Exactly.
So a lot
But
of
how was the shower hot?
it was piping hot.
Hot, right? Yeah.
So I saw under the sink there was, it looked like a hot water on demand.
That's it. It's tankless hot water,
Oh,
so
okay.
it runs forever once you
Nice.
get
Yeah.
it.
I was in
going.
there for a while because
Yeah,
it was cold when I got here last night. Most of the people that watch my channel, they're either just interested in the industry, so might pop by your resort, or they're looking to buy something for themselves. So I'm curious, as someone who's now bought 9 and is looking to buy more, what piece of advice could you give to people as they're out there looking and shopping for, whether it's their own home or something for their backyard? What would you tell them?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just say whatever that idea is, I would say start it small.
Okay.
And work out your own glitches and work out your own kinks.
Yeah.
And it can still be that one tiny home on that huge 3 acres of land that you want to have.
Yeah.
But you'll probably figure out something that you didn't realize after you've experienced, or really if there's a way to stay in that tiny home for a week You just learn so much more in a week, like a hotel, right? If you ever stayed in a hotel, the first night you got there was amazing, but then by the third night, you didn't realize the traffic's like crazy, and this happens, and the fire alarm goes off. You're like, get me the F out of here.
Yeah.
You know, same kind of idea.
I agree. Like, you almost have to normalize test driving a home like you would a car, because even spending a night there, you just learn so much about the home that you don't see on a floor plan.
Correct. And until you've gone through all of the motions, you know, of laundry or, you know, sleeping upstairs and having to go to the bathroom at 3 a.m. in the morning and climbing down that ladder 3 nights in a row, that now you realize that sucks.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate you taking the time and giving us those answers. I think people are going to find it interesting. The resort's awesome, so I will link your Instagram and YouTube channel down below. He's got a full YouTube channel showing the process of how they set the resort up, so if that's of interest, I'll put a link to that down below as well. There you have it, folks, an inside look from someone who's purchased 9 prefab homes, a Tim Talk, if you will. That's it for me here at the Smoke Jumper. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.